Hello there, Serum17 once again. This is another Dark Souls 2 update video. We have some artwork that's recently been released and a lot of websites have snapped it up, so I'm going to go through the pictures. I'm hopefully going to pop them in the video for you, and we're just going to keep on this hype train that is Dark Souls 2. So before I do this, folks, you haven't seen any beta footage from me because I have like 3 hours of the stuff and I can't show it because it's under NDA. And also, because of the new way that YouTube works, it'll probably immediately get flagged even if I wanted to show it. So just bear that in mind, guys. I do have it, I just wish I could share it. So the first picture that you should be seeing, hopefully, is a female, I don't know what armor that is, but it's from Dark Souls. I think it's like a hunter armor or something along those lines, or a... It's been too long since I've seen those classes, but everybody knows what armor that is, and everybody knows what class that is when you start. And she's up against this giant troll-esque creature with a crazy old face, and a dude riding it, which, the notion of people riding enemies is a cool thing. I just think it looks really funny that he's, making the giant dude do his bidding. And I'm hoping that there's a way to, do a critical or some sort to the guy riding it, which affects the fight completely. Maybe you'll be able to get on one of them. That could be really, really interesting. But the thing that piques my interest here is behind them there is this structure of brick and mortar, like some kind of mason tower. It's got what looks like broken windmills or turbines or something of that nature. So I have absolutely no idea what it could mean, but it does look reminiscent of perhaps Havel's Tower and structures like that. And one of the things I'm liking about this game is it's a wide open game with a lot of these images, and I'm hoping it also has the verticality to go with it, because that's one of the things that I've really enjoyed about Dark Souls and the Souls series, just that feeling of height and weight to where you are, that verticality that not a lot of games do very well. But the next image is an interesting one because it's a new armor set and a new shield and what looks like a longsword on, I think it's a female character, clad completely in scarlet, taking on a mummified dude who's got a giant-looking macy axe thing, and he's all bound, and it just kind of looks really crazy. And they're fighting on some kind of rampart, some kind of like palisade. There's the moon behind them, which I'm assuming is hinting at a night and day cycle, because there's a lot of stuff on this game that looks like it's in the day, a lot of stuff that looks like it's in the night, and I'm not too sure if it's just going to be certain areas that are bright and other areas that are not, or if there's actually going to be a transitional, elemental and weather feature, which would be really nice. Next one's a merchant who's got green skin, which is kind of weird. He's either undead or he's the Hulk. He's got a massive beard too, so I'm all for beards, and the person who's speaking to him kind of looks like a twatty Darth Vader, which... say what you will. His sword does look different to the swords we're used to, because you'll notice on the hilt of the blade, where he's holding it, it's kind of curved, which I don't remember any kind of, ornamental hilts on Dark Souls so much, so maybe that's a new sword of some kind. But his armour does look different, his head does look a little bit Darth Vader-y, and he's in what looks like some kind of village, and the village itself could be ripped directly out of, Battlefield, because it looks like that kind of terracotta, Peruvian hill place, like always in a perpetual state of dusk. Looks interesting. Then we have probably the most interesting image I've seen, because not only does it depict a badass looking chapel or cathedral of sorts and the hero that we're going to be playing as, but it also has this NPC dude who no doubt is going to be killable and probably going to help you through the game, but he looks a hell of a lot like Bjor of the Twin Fang from Demon Souls. So I don't know if it's an homage to him or if it is actually him, which would be super cool, but he's here, he's looking badass, and I'm really curious as to how tough and how cool this dude is, because he looks pretty badass and I want to kill him. The next one is something anybody who's played Demon Souls or Dark Souls will recognize immediately. It is FromSoft in their penchant for making you fall down ridiculously perilous gaps, landing on tiny bits of geometry to get to a ledge that'll probably lead to a fucking, compressed soul. So, nothing new really there. The next image is the hunter build with the crazy Faris hat. She's outside with what looks like some kind of maiden, or maybe a female merchant, And once again, the night-day cycle is looking pretty awesome. There's an obelisk in the background. This looks like quite an open area, definitely reminiscent of the place where you take on the the Storm Ruler King guy on Demon Souls. But what this gives me faith for is that you're going to be bumping into more people in the world. It's going to have more a feeling that there are other folks struggling in that mortal realm. Because Dark Souls was great, but it also had that feeling of desolation. And you did meet people, but it was very sporadic. I would really like to feel like I'm not the only person who's trying to navigate the hells of wherever the hell you are. And with a lot of these pictures, it's making me think that hopefully the NPCs are going to be, much more frequent, and perhaps they'll prove to add a lot of difficulty to the game or a lot of intrigue. I'm not too sure. I could be completely wrong. So the next picture is a kind of strange one. It immediately makes me think of at the bottom of, is it 2-2? Where you're going down the shortcut to get to the Flame Lurker, and when you land at the bottom, a bunch of rockworms bust out of the ground. I don't know why, it just reminds me of that, but as you can see here, there's a bunch of statue-like effigies of small wrapped-up creatures or babies or something. Maybe this is the graveyard for the swamps of the Valley of Defilement, where all the dead babies go. Maybe this is where they buried the buggers before they turned into those ridiculous sugar puff monsters. The next one displays a similar shield that we've seen. It also shows a guy who's probably playing as a barbarian. He's all furred up with pelts and he's got a quiver on his back. He's walking forward through what looks like some kind of forest. My eyes are immediately drawn to the twigs above him because they look very reminiscent of the ones you break through on your way to the old one in Demon Souls. And as you can see, there is a ghost in front of him telling him that someone else is fighting here, which probably gives us a good idea that there's something lethal about to jump out or laying in wait down this wooded path. But cool image, very interesting stuff. This is probably my favourite image because it doesn't make any sense. It is a dude who looks like a pirate with an awesome looking fucking hat. It looks like he's kind of got long hair, maybe bunched up and at the back in some sort of ponytail. And it also looks like his eyes have been sewn shut. And he reminds me of the bad guy in Afro Samurai, but I can't remember the damn guy's name. The dude with the guns, the cowboy guy, who Ron Perlman voices. He makes me think of that dude, which, good or bad, he looks kind of cool. And hopefully he will be cool. And he'll prove to be something badass. But another thing as well, they're mentioning that this might take place near the sea. It could be quite nautical. Maybe he is a pirate and we're going to be on damn pirate ships, which would be glorious. This is an alternative view of the one where the maiden was, because you'll notice there's an obelisk as well, some kind of shrine stone in the back there, some kind of monument. This place looks awesome, and it makes me think that this game could be really big and really wide. And also, how cool is it going to be to fight here? Because it's a massive open space, none of the bullshit of trees and all that kind of stuff. A lot of duels going to happen here. I can almost predict it. This is an interesting one, because once again, it's armor we recognise on a helmet that could be the one you get from killing the undead merchant, down in the catacombs. But the sword is what interests me most, because there's a runish like pattern on it, which is cool, some kind of tapestry on the girth of the blade. And then there is a black merchant, which I don't remember seeing any black NPCs in Dark Souls. I mean, I could be wrong, but I just don't remember it. Everybody kind of just looked dirty, so you couldn't really tell what ethnicity they were. So this is kind of cool, at least, that it's got more a diversification of people. Maybe it'll have some lore behind it that tells us, where this person's from. Who knows? This one is very strange. She's almost like a fortune teller. It makes me think that she's going to be some kind of oracle character, and I'm hoping, with the looks of it, you'll notice there's somebody behind her. Maybe this is some kind of tent in some kind of village where you wander in and there's all the lost souls waiting to go out on this perilous journey. I'm really excited at the concept. She could probably be in a toilet with nobody around and you only speak to her once, but it still looks exciting and interesting, and it's always good to speculate and wonder what might be. This one's interesting because we see a wanderer with the noob cannon, known as the Falcon, and he's taking on what look like some kind of mutated hollow dudes, because either that guy's got the thickest penis, or he's got some kind of protuberance or growth coming from his groin, which is not cool because it probably hurts and is undoubtedly filled with something very nasty. But this is a very thin path, bunch of dudes coming towards him. He's got his shield up. That is a lot of guys though, because just from this picture alone, there's easily 6+ dudes, 5 dudes. and that's a lot in any stand. So either these guys are filler enemies like Popcorn, or this guy's in the shit. But he does have the Falcon, and if he's got the wolf ring on, which we can't tell, you know, he might be able to just swing away and take down the threat. And that is all of the pictures that I'm going to be analysing, guys. So hopefully you found something enjoyable from that, and you got your creative juices flowing, as there's only, you know, a month and a half left before, well, a little bit over that, until Dark Souls 2 drops, and we can all play and find out the secrets for ourselves. So thank you for watching, and you take care now.